Welcome back to Joey's Quizzes and Stuff. Your last assignment was to copy this bass line and add the figured bass and members of the triads. How did you do? Next, let's complete this phrase. Once we have our worksheet set up like this, we begin filling in the notes. As we work this through, don't forget to follow all the rules, checking for parallel octaves, fifths, and unisons as we go. Remember, we will be doubling the root of each chord as we have 4 voices. I believe it to be easier if we write out the soprano first, then come and fill in the inner voices. Let's start with a B. Our next chord needs a D, F sharp, and A. Since the A is so close to where we are, let's use that. A good harmony writing practice is to either repeat a note or only move one step wherever possible. Next we have a G, B, D. We could go either direction here and it would be just fine, but since our bass note is moving down, we'll counter that here in the soprano by going back up to the B. Next, C, E, G. Remember, we repeat or move one step wherever possible. We'll take the C here. Our next chord is a repeat of the same chord, so we must change our harmony somewhere, and this would be a great place for a peek in the song, so let's jump up to the E. Not every note in your upper harmony must change when you repeat a chord, but at least one voice should. This next one is very important. Notice that we have no common tones, which means we must use contrary motion. Since our bass moves up, our soprano must move down, which takes us to the D. We have a chord repeat again, so let's throw in a good jump right before the end to make it sound like the end to our ears. An exception to almost every rule is when you are repositioning the same chord. Therefore, we don't have to worry about repeating or moving just one step. Finally, let's end with a G. This makes a perfect cadence as the root of the last chord is in the bass and soprano. With our soprano done, we can fill in the inner voices. We already have a G and B, so we need one more G and a D. Looks like the only good way to get those is by putting the G in the alto and the D in the tenor. Next we have a D and A, so we need one more D and an F sharp. Since the tenor just had a D, let's repeat that here, which allows us to ignore contrary motion. This leaves only the F sharp available for the alto. Now that we've worked about halfway through this, you can finish this as your assignment for this video. It's always a good practice to hear every piece of work you do, so if you're able, play it on a piano or have someone or something play it for you. Happy harmony!